Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are topics for today. From World Business Satellite, putting a stop to smartphone addiction.
Also from World Business Satellite, Japan's restaurant and supermarket industries pursue new price strategies to fight off slumping consumption.
From Takumi, an innovator who developed new uses for forest-destroying bamboo.
And in the Project Japan, a report on what Japan is doing to prevent the spread of infectious diseases threatening the world.
So let's get started. First up is a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite.
This time we'll be looking at the topic of smartphone addiction. But first, let me ask you, how often do you use your smartphone during a typical day?
Wow, how often? I never actually thought about it, but I use them when I'm in a cab or on a train and when I have a little free time. How about you?
I think that's more or less what I do too, and probably a lot of people, because you do see lots of people on trains and cafes and restaurants staring at their smartphone screens.
Yes. Well, it's become such a common sight, and it's understandable since you can read books or magazine, listen to music, and so on.
Yes, I agree. Well, while smartphones have made our lives much more convenient, there's definitely a tendency to become addicted, and it is a growing issue for society as a whole. And we have this graph over here. It represents a survey of 560 people between the ages of 15 and 59, asking them if they're aware of their smartphone addiction.
Well, it seems more than half of people in each age group feel that they're addicted.
And it's a problem that not only affects the working age population, but it's also becoming quite noticeable in the teenage segment. And elementary and middle school students are said to use their smartphone about 2 hours every day on average. And when it comes to high school students, they use it an average of 5 hours a day.
Wow. But it's not surprising because smartphones offer so many tempting features and functions for teenagers. And at the same time, though, the survey results are a bit worrying.
They are, aren't they? And smartphone addiction is said to lead to reduced academic performance, sleeplessness, and also inability to communicate.
Well, when I was a student, we didn't have smartphones, but for students now, smartphones are the tools that they grew up with. So this addiction might be a problem that runs deeper than we think.
Yes, I think you're right. And educators are also taking up this issue in a big way. And some universities are starting to implement measures to put a stop to smartphone addiction. So take a look.
The College of Industrial Technology at Nihon University in Chiba Prefecture. In a classroom of third-year students, an explanatory session for a seminar is being held.
This is very important. Make sure you understand properly before submitting your request.
It's a meeting to help them decide what to do after graduation. But the students are all looking at their smartphone screens. They're reading Twitter feeds and playing games. During the break, noticeable are students who don't talk to friends and continue fiddling with their smartphones. In the cafeteria, there are even those who eat alone with a smartphone in one hand. Seeing this situation, the university says it feels a strong sense of crisis.
There are students who, rather than speak directly to people who are close by, use email and Line. I feel a growing number of students have trouble communicating with others.
April 16th, the university took action. Gathered in a classroom are about 200 students who just enrolled this spring.
We have a plan for people to proactively make friends. It's called the Phone Off Trip.
For the next 2 days and one night, they will go on a smartphone-less training camp. The idea was proposed to the university by major travel agency JTB. They say it's a new product they call Out of Range Journey that they're trialing for the first time.
Everyone, please turn off your phones.
The smartphone-less training camp has begun.
I'm a bit worried, but I'll tough it out for 2 days.
After driving for about an hour and a half, they arrive at Mother Farm in Futsu, Chiba Prefecture. What exactly will they be doing here?
Look at the map and go to the numbered places.
What they'll be doing is an activity called orienteering, in which they have to look at a map to get to various locations. Each group will consist of 5 unacquainted students. He's Akira Uchitake from Miyazaki Prefecture.
The phone's in my hand from when I wake up to when I go to sleep. I have my phone and I want to hold it, but the power's off.
In a smartphone addiction survey that JTB carried out before the trip, he was actually determined to be mildly addicted, just one level shy of a heavy addiction.
I'm constantly checking Twitter, so this result isn't surprising.
In this orienteering activity, they have to look at a paper-based map and find designated spots.
I want to Google this.
These young students have grown up in an age when Googling is second nature, so they can't help but voice their frustration. Even so, the 5 continued to work together to reach the locations. Even Akira Uchitake, who admitted to being a smartphone addict, appears to have built a rapport with the others. Nighttime. The students eat dinner together. They all appear to be enjoying talking to each other. And on the following day, they arrive back at the university. The out-of-range journey is over.
The phone-off trip is now over. Please switch your phones on.
As if they were all waiting for this moment, the students switch on their smartphones at once. What did smartphone addict Akira Uchitake think about the trip?
The best thing is that I talk more with people. Communication is important. I want to use my phone less and talk with people more.
He's realized the benefits of making time when he doesn't use his smartphone. Smartphone addiction isn't limited to university students. It's also spreading to high schoolers. High school senior Takuto Nanga lives in a town surrounded by nature. His parents bought him a smartphone in his last year of middle school. He became hooked on drawing illustrations on it.
It would be dark before I realized, and I'd be upset at myself for that.
Feeling he was using his smartphone too much, 2 years ago, he started participating in activities hosted by a local high school group called Swing By, which raises awareness about the dangers of smartphone addiction. Most of the members were originally smartphone addicts. They warn against overuse of smartphones at local elementary and middle schools.
Everyone's addicted, so we understand how it feels.
The group's activities have caught the interest of one company, KDDI, which runs the AU mobile service brand.
Our app develops with the help of your ideas. Using it, how did you feel? By visualizing the time you slacked off from studying, it gives you a sense of crisis.
KDDI is actually working with the group's members to develop an app to prevent smartphone addiction. This is the initial display when the application is installed. When the study button is tapped and the study time set, it goes into study mode. Then, internet browsing and other apps disappear from the screen, and even games become unplayable. KDDI plans to develop similar apps in the future as one solution to the smartphone addiction problem. What kind of relationship should people have with their smartphones?
Use it smartly and be properly fearful of it. We have no choice because it's impossible for our society and also our children to live without smartphones. We need to continue talking about the usefulness aspect as well as the dangers of smartphones.
I was actually struck by how the expressions of people changed after they let go of their smartphones. They all looked more tuned in a sense.
Yes, I agree. And it is important to recognize both the convenience of smartphones and the damage they can cause in terms of addiction.
Right, I agree.